Alright, I'm back. So sometime later, yes, with perhaps a mellower disposition, and we'll just say, oh, well, maybe there'll be some sentence he'll utter that will be in some way relevant to this argument that there's insufficient evidence, and frankly, that's a big problem. Insufficient evidence isn't a good thing. Contradictory experimental results aren't a good thing. Maybe we get agreement about that, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, I have to get my courage up to hit the button. I'll knock the volume down a little bit. Seems a little loud, frankly. So we'll see what happens. Sorry about the first half being a little loud.
That means you need to show us that it's wrong. We've already...
Okay, so I have to some extent. And the fact is like again, I could play the Mythbusters crashing the cars and squishing the clay. Half the amount of clay is squished, not 4 times. And, twice, not 4 times the smushing of the clay, only twice the smushing of the clay. And the cars did the same exact thing. So there's my piece of evidence. Let's say I have no other evidence. That's it. That's the piece of evidence. Because, frankly, physics hasn't done any of these experiments. It's not my fault you haven't done any experiments. I haven't done any, you haven't done any. Let's just say that. All right? Just don't pretend you have done them and I haven't, because I have done them.
We accepted it. We're moving on. It works.
Okay, so what's the point? We've accepted it. We've moved on. It works when it doesn't work. I mean, again, the balance lever. I could literally put the bullet on one side and the recoiling gun on the other side, and it's going to balance. In the idealization. Fact. You don't care. Those facts don't mean anything to you.
So, yeah, you show us. Where's your experiment?
Okay, so, So this isn't a bullshit answer, right? Where's my satellite? Why don't I use my satellite and point it at the corona of the sun? Why don't I do that? Why don't I go in my space shuttle and shoot myself into space and take a telescope with me and do the Eddington experiment? Why not I do that? What a pile of crap as a response. So yeah, I'm pissed off again. That didn't take long. So show me. Amazing. And nothing on the subject. Yes, and you just did more of the same thing. All right. If you want to know how it works from a science classroom point of view, a classroom what? Who you fool with this shit? 6-year-olds? I'm always happy to help. I mean, it's just, I already pointed out you're an arrogant, patronizing motherfucker. Shove it up your ass, Mr. Rogers. Okay. If you would like me...
So there we are, right?
Yeah, there we are. That's right, because it's Mr. Rogers' reality hood. This isn't, this is just for kids. This isn't real science. This isn't doing anything serious. It's just a little fairy story. So you might as well dress up as Peter Rabbit and tell your Peter Rabbit story. This is Barney the Dinosaur physics. This isn't real physics.
He doesn't want to hear what we actually teach in classrooms.
All right, so lie some more. So I've probably watched more physics lectures than you have. They're in my videos, actually. I've played all of the Shakar videos in my videos. I've played all of Professor Lewin's videos in my videos. I played a whole nother pile of videos from Caltech in my videos. The Mechanical Universe, I think, is the title of that series. And I've watched a whole bunch of other videos, lectures that I never made a video watching. So, yes, tell me I haven't paid any attention. You don't think that's patronizing and insulting? Fuck you!
He just wants to, yell profanity.
Yeah, right. The whole video was me yelling profanities. Oh, yeah. Sure it was.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I going to include the profanity when I edit this, or am I going to bleep it out or something? I don't know. I don't monetize. But at the same time, I don't allow this sort of behavior on my channel, because that's not allowed.
Yeah, it's too real. It's too really human. And we don't want to be real humans.
I don't allow Globers to.
Yeah, well, whatever. Okay, fine. You don't allow anyone to get angry about anything. Fine. I think anger is perfectly necessary. If you don't get angry about things that are wrong, they don't get fixed.
Insult flat earthers. I don't allow people to come here and say,
Oh, whatever. I didn't say it on your channel. I said it on my channel.
mean things, insulting words about draft physics. If I even post this video.
Oh, okay. So we'll see how long the Despar comment stays up. So the Despar pile of shit where he just talks about me living in a basement and all this irrelevant crapola. You want to leave that comment up? I'm sure there's going to be more for you to account for in terms of the comments on your fucking channel.
I'll have to police the comments extensively because I don't allow people to turn legitimate debate into some kind of tribal.
And again, and how did it get turned? Right? I mean, I solicited your attention to subject. Are you honestly saying that you somehow addressed a single one of the arguments I made? I mean, I ask a simple question. Does your car use 25 times the fuel to go 5 times as fast? And you start talking about regressive braking and all kinds of other subjects that aren't the subject. I'm supposed to be unfrustrated by your lack of responsiveness.
Antics where we rant against each other and call each other names rather than considering the arguments.
And again, calling somebody a name and patronizing. See, patronizing, in my opinion, is the worst thing you can do to some other intelligent person. You want to offend an intelligent person, patronize them. Say something like, oh, well, do I have to explain that your big toe is bigger than the rest of your toes? Haven't you watched any grammar school physics? Yeah. Yeah, that's when I start flipping fingers.
But why am I making this video then? Really, because I just wanted to sort of highlight where we are.
Right, you wanted to ignore the subject some more and now just, be offended that somebody else is pissed off. And somehow they're not supposed to be pissed off. They're supposed to just say, oh, this is just great. We're not going to talk about the subject I want to talk about. We're going to talk about some other subject.
Are in the world today. This is where we're at.
No, you're the problem with the world today. Idiocracy, the unaccountable, bullshit. Let's just invent money out of nowhere and let's give it all to rich people. Yeah.
Where debate about or discussion about physics turns into what you just heard.
By your choice.
That's not physics. It's not debate. It's not constructive.
And it's not 99% of the argument. It's 1%. So it's 1%. You can just say, okay, he's pissed off. The end. Let's get back to the argument. But are you going to do that? No, you're just going to rag on and on and on and on because I dropped an F-bomb. This is going to be your subject now. There's an F-bomb in the video, therefore the video's unwatchable. I'm supposed to take that argument seriously? I'm supposed to think this is a worthy conversation? No, it's not a worthy conversation. I'm saying I'm an adult on my channel, I'll F-bomb. Because I think this is, like I said, I should be a real person. I shouldn't be a fake person. I honestly think you have no integrity. It's an honest statement. I honestly think you have no notion of what telling the truth is. Because if you did care, after I said that you're not, F equals ma is not Newton, you should be realizing, hey, that's absolutely true. It's not what Newton said. It's not what Newton believed. And Newton said, right under the second law, twice the force, twice the motion. Not twice the force, 4 times the motion. Not anything else, nothing like that. It's completely proportional.
What is it? It's just people being angry. And that's it. And that's what's going on with science right now in the world. It's just one guy. It's just fringe. No, it's...
Oh, amazing. So science is full of arguments. Oh, where are they? Please show me the real arguments taking place inside science. You're all group thinkers, insane group thinkers.
It's permeating all different kinds of science now. It's getting into politics. I mean, it probably goes the other way. It comes from politics into science. Hard to say. But when there are factual questions in front of us, and we need to, make decisions, make policy based on those facts, it's good to have the right facts. And this is unfortunately very endemic in what I do with my channel.
All right, so look, all of this for one F-bomb. So for 0.001% of the video time, he's got to talk about it for 10 minutes, because that's the big problem. The problem in my whole video presentation is the fact that I get pissed off. That's the only subject he saw. There's no physics in the videos. I didn't draw anything. I didn't argue anything. It just, all right, I'll just try to play it without responding. Let's get through this little rant of his about, oh, woe is me. People don't talk the same way I do. They don't know how to Mr. Rogerize.
It was an attempt to reach out, reach across, as it is said in politics. They say reach across the aisle, reach to people who don't agree. Like flat Earth is a good example. Like to reach out to people who don't believe in the globe and try.
So why should I not be offended to be called a flat earther? I mean, I'm not denying real physics. I'm denying your claims about real physics for which you don't have evidence. I'm saying, show me your evidence, okay? Have you shown me any? I mean, have you? No. Will you show flat earthers evidence? Oh, you bet you will. So you see the difference? You'll show the flat earther where they're wrong. You won't take my drawings and explain where I made a mistake somewhere. I mean, when I draw gravity, the four units of distance thing, when I do the rolling ball analogy and I sit there and explain it, you won't play that video and explain where I said something incorrect.
They show them that, no, it's not, we're not a satanic cult. We're not evil. We're not against you. Just, you're welcome.
I'm sorry, you're the Catholic Church. You're a religion, a dogmatic religion making all kinds of claims about wormholes and time travel and all kinds of entanglement, no determinism because the universe is all wacky and silly, blah, 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 random verse. I mean, all kinds of rubbish.
You're welcome here, right? You're welcome to learn the things that we've learned. You're welcome to the knowledge that we've gained.
Okay, but we're not welcome to the evidence that convinced you. That we're not welcome to. I've asked you, what convinces you? What experiment just, whoa, yeah, okay, there's the 25 times and the 5 times. Yep, there it is. What experiment demonstrates it to you? Water wheel? What? Hydraulics, gears, pulleys, levers? Where does it just say to you, whoa, there it is. Boom, bang. We got it. No examples.
And if you don't want it, that's okay too, right? It's okay. I'd hope that when we've gained real factual knowledge, I'm not talking about some mystical stuff, That's something that's just like written in a textbook, therefore it is true. No, it's things that are actually practical and true, and things that you can build with, right? You know, like we're talking about now, momentum and energy. Let's build cars, right? Let's build cars. We have an energy plant, that's the engine, and we have a momentum generator, right? You know, that's the motor. We're going to exchange energy back and forth, regenerative brakes, yeah.
So we already agreed on it's just going to be an electric car. And so it's just a battery and a motor. And you're supposed to explain to me how, you know, somehow I can make 25 times the watts. I have to use 25 times the watts to get 5 times the velocity out of the motor. And electricity doesn't work that way. There's no voltage squared.
Let's build that. If you build it based on physics, it does not work. Your engineering will not work. So let's don't do that, right? Let's don't build a society based on...
All right, so he's accusing me of doing a misbuild. He's accusing me of being wrong, that cars are insanely inefficient at high speeds, and that we could save zillions of amounts of energy if we just reduced our speed, because it's so quadratically evil that we have to waste so much energy going fast. I mean, come on. He's not on the subject, right? I mean, his accusation that somehow I have failed to prove my point, when no, he has dramatically failed to prove his.
Throwing out facts that actually work for everyone.
Oh, fuck. Where's
but
it work?
So far, I have not been successful with that approach. My hypothesis has been that people like draft physics here have gotten to this point because they were pushed there.
This is just silly. No, I got to this point, and I've explained how I got to this point. Physics Girl did a video with the 5 mass going 10, where you add 5 mass to it, and all of a sudden you have a 10 mass going 5, and the momentum is perfectly conserved, and then she reveals that, yes, half the kinetic energy is lost, but she says, well, it's because it made a whole bunch of heat and other stuff. It deformed things, it broke things, made all kinds of sounds, sparks flew off, all kinds of things happened. And I made the simple observation, well, how can you use the momentum twice? I can't keep the momentum and use it to make heat and all this other stuff. There's no logic to the statement that the energy is still there somewhere. Well, show me where it is. If you're going to claim there's deformation and heat, show me it. They can't show you any. Half the energy? It's a lot of energy. I should be able to see it. You should be able to find it for me and show me it leaking out of the object. You're claiming it's leaking out and you're not showing me any drips. That's how it started. You won't show me the energy dripping out of the experiment. You're saying it leaks. Half the energy is leaking out of the experiment. Show me.
We're pushed away in math class, in science class, probably at the grade school level. They were not made to feel welcome.
No, that didn't happen. I was made to feel like I'm supposed to be a dupe. I'm supposed to be an idiot. They draw a silly diagram of a photon, and my brain says, what are you talking about? I can't do all of that wiggly crap. How the hell is a photon doing it? It's one of the most elemental, simplest things in the universe, and you're saying it has all these frickin' functions. Didn't make any sense to me. The elemental universe just can't be made out of Smurfs. It can't be made out of Hoobies. It's made out of something simple, not something complicated. You consider an alternative point of view, I'm open to explore it. Go fuck yourself. How about that point of view?
Yeah, once again, very clear. He does not want me to consider his point of view. He wants to have a shouting match about it.
I mean, could you stick your head up your own ass any further? Right, so he's just being patronizing. I mean, I've already solicited your attention. I told you what the subject was. You're nowhere near the subject, and then you say, I'd like to discuss it. And we've been trying to discuss it, okay, with a bunch of back and forth. And I've been there and done that. It's plain and simple. I've been there and done this before. I ask a simple question, I get an evasive, non-real answer. So again, yes, I have no patience with this drivel. I'm ready to answer your questions in Japanese. Yeah, that's what you're saying to me. In a long dead language. I really don't, I'm not requesting that you try, but, maybe you could. If you want me to accept that you are correct, no, I want you to show me fucking reasons to believe your crap. How many fucking times do I have to say it? Show me a piece of fucking evidence, you fuck! Okay, let's see. If you want me to accept that you are correct without... Oh, so that would have been a key moment for him to interject, wouldn't it have been? Investigating it all, so that's exactly not what I'm asking you to do, shithead. I'm asking you to explain to me why you believe it. Besides it written in a Bible, what reason do you have to believe the fable?
As I've been saying, because it works.
Oh, okay.
Try it. In a really good physics classroom, we do like...
amazing, because it works. So he says, when I drive the car, I will see it working. When I do an oscillating pendulum, I'll see it working. When I do the ballistic pendulum, I'll see it working. When I have a rocket ship and I want to move it, I'll see it working. No, in every one of those examples, I'll see it not working. I mean, it's so dishonest that they have evidence of it working. Where does it work? Show me where it works. It does work. Show me it knocking over more bowling pins. I mean, it's a simple enough experiment, right? 8-pound ball going 16 miles an hour, 16-pound ball going 8 miles an hour. Which one knocks over more pins? Their theory says you knock off four times the number of pins with the lighter ball, twice the number. It's the same momentum. I know the momentum is going to exchange. I did the whole chart of all the momentum exchanges. It's the same exact momentum. They'll knock down the same amount of matter will be moving after the experiment that was moving before the experiment. The same exact mass and velocity will exist in the universe, and there won't be any sign of any kinetic energy. I mean, you just... Fuck, it's just so dishonest. Talk as if we have seen the evidence that it's been shown to me. The bowling ball doing twice the pin action has been shown to me. No, it hasn't.
Labs, right? The students do labs. We try things. And there are labs based on kinetic energy. You just punch up Google, right? Just ask it.
All right,
What
so
are
no
high
point.
school physics labs that teach the
Yeah, and they're all flawed experiments. Little plastic carts with lots of metal wheels. Really dumb idea, frankly. I mean, if you know anything about flywheels, and the fact is that you're going to store a bunch of energy in the wheelbase instead of in the linear motion of the cart. And then I've already explained the spring problem. There's no point in doing experiments with different masses on springs because the spring won't give the same energy to light things that it gives to heavy things. So again, these are all flawed experiments. This is all just saying, well, go watch the pointy arrow experiment. It proves the point. The pointy arrow goes in further. Obviously, it has more energy. That's all you're saying to me is go watch the pointy arrow experiment. I'm saying I need better than that. It doesn't convince me.
principles of kinetic energy. Mathematically, we can do it mathematically. Hopefully, I'm sure we'll hear a rant from him about math because the guy hates math. But yeah, you can just show it mathematically.
So again, a lie. So you can't. Mathematics proves that you can't conserve both. So anytime you convert all of the energy from a light thing to a heavy thing, the math says you can't conserve both the momentum and the kinetic energy. It's impossible. It's just an absolute fact. Your math proves it can't be done. So again, just another lie.
It's It's all there, but he doesn't want it. He just wants to shout profanities.
Okay, so again,
that's his
it's
whole
all
purpose.
there. It's all there. He'll show me nothing that he showed me. He showed me no experiment. He linked to no experiment. He linked to absolutely nothing that shows 25 times the fuel to go 5 times as fast. Nothing that gives any indication of that being the truth whatsoever. And he's just claiming, well, I've given you all the evidence. Yes, you've given me all the evidence, no, because there isn't any. And that's the damn bottom line, is you're just a preacher of a religious theory, and that's it. It's a religious theory. It isn't a scientific theory. It isn't based on evidence. It's based on desire. You want a wooey verse. And the only way you can make one is to square velocities.
His entire purpose, and I'm not the first one that he's discussed this with. He begins with, show me why you believe this. We show you why we believe this.
Okay, lie. I mean, just such a fucking lie. Let me play that fucking lie again.
Because that's
what a fucking liar. You showed nothing. You linked to nothing. You lying piece of shit.
It's all there, but he doesn't want it. He just wants to shout profanities. That's his whole purpose. His entire purpose, and I'm not the first one that he's discussed this with. He begins with, show me why you believe this. We show you why we believe this.
So where did you show it? Show it. Show your rickety plastic cart experiment with a silly spring, a 20-cent spring. Go ahead. Show me that experiment, and I'll explain exactly why somebody intelligent shouldn't fall for it. Oh, they're just so dishonest. So fucking dishonest. And again, I've shown the experiment. So just illustrate to me how the balance being perfectly, oscillating perfectly with a 1 mass going 4 velocity and a 4 mass going 1 velocity on the two sides of the balance. And go ahead and explain how one of them has 4 times the kinetic energy. Go ahead, explain it to me. How does this one have 4 times the kinetic energy? How does one side of the balance have 4 times the energy in it? Shit. Yeah, take a break. God damn it. There's nothing you can have but contempt. I mean, it just boils right up. I mean, this is just so dishonest. I have shown you all this great evidence. How dare you deny our wonderful theory? Because I showed you the videotape of Jesus walking on the water. Oh, well, yeah, no, it was a videotape of a box sitting on the floor. But, you just need to think about it, imagine a little bit. Use your imagination, and you can imagine the box is Jesus, and you can imagine the floor is water. So, yeah, it's the same thing. Isn't that proof? Yeah, that's really good proof, right? Yeah, it's just so bad. No, I was just thinking, I mean, all this could be resolved. Obviously, this is a reaction video. I'm reacting. He could just play the parts where I'm drawing something and explain where I'm in error in my drawing. So I've drawn gravity, I've drawn the pendulums, I've drawn cars, I've drawn all kinds of stuff. Just show a video where I'm drawing something and explain where I'm wrong about what I drew. No F-bombs then.
And then he just turns into rants. Because that's his purpose in life.
I insist investigating a claim before I accept it. Well, you're a liar, because you clearly haven't investigated MV squared at all. Because if you do a little tiny bit of investigation, you'll see it was created by a religious crank and then defended with pseudoscience experiments.
Okay, we're starting to get in here his point of view that...
No, it's not my point of view, it's the historical record.
And science is a religion. When we talk about kinetic energy is 1/2 mv squared, we talk about it.
So I brought up the subject of researching the origins of kinetic energy. That's the subject. And is he going to talk about that subject, the origins of the kinetic energy theorem? No.
For him, it comes back to who said so. Who is the first?
Yeah, that's how you figure out why you believe something. is to go back and find out why you believe it. Where's it come from? Where did the idea come from? What experiment indicated it had to be true? And there wasn't anything broken in momentum. Momentum was working for everybody. Everybody liked momentum. Descartes, Galileo, Newton, they all liked it. It all worked. It all looked quite conservative. What needed to be fixed? Oh, that's right. Nothing needed to be fixed. Science was doing a good job.
Person to put this forward, and frankly, I don't even know. Because
there you go. Okay, so you don't know anything about the origin of it, so you can't show me any evidence that it happens, and you haven't even researched the origin of it. So Huygens said it first, barely referenced some idea that velocity is squared, and then Leibniz is the one who aggressively published and asserted it. And he failed to convince the Newtonians because they all knew what a lever was. And so that's why Leibniz was buried as a nothing, is because he had lost all credibility, not only because of this subject, but because of his hostility to anybody disagreeing with him.
that's not how science works.
And stealing Newton's calculus.
I mean, that's history. That's not science.
Oh, okay. So the history of the kinetic energy theory is not relevant. Just amazing, right? I mean, it's just amazing. It's not part of the evidence. It's not part of how you defend its existence, is knowing its origin. So it's irrelevant in analyzing Catholicism to talk about Rome and to talk about the whole idea that 24 men got in around a table and had a discussion about what the Bible's going to say. That's not relevant. The fact that it's a made-up story, well, that's not relevant.
Science, right? He talks about Leibniz, and apparently he doesn't like this Leibniz character.
It's Leibniz, but whatever. So he doesn't even know who Leibniz is. Best of all possible worlds. Solitons and monads. That's what the universe is made out of. Things that are souls and things that are trying to be a soul. That's the origin of your physics. That's its foundation.
Okay. What has that got to do with it?
Oh, 1 pound dropped 4 feet, 4 pounds dropped 1 foot. That's what it has to do with it. Jesus Christ. God damn. Things with different momentums and your claim that they have the same capacity to apply force. That's the subject.
That doesn't matter. What matters is what happens now. In science, we don't go back to the history book.
Okay, well, I'm just saying when an atheist argues with a religious person, atheists find it incredibly relevant to point out how the book wasn't written by God, it was written by men. And I emphasize the word men, not women. Although there are lots of girly bits in the Bible. But there's also this stuff where you can rape for free.
And dig that stuff up, and that's not proof of anything. It doesn't.
Okay, so it's pretty much decisive proof that it has no credible origin. That's a huge piece of evidence against a fable. When you can point out that it has no credible origin, that's a pretty good piece of evidence that that's why it's nonsense, is because there's no credibility to its invention. It showed up erroneously, not through logic and reasoning.
No matter who said it, when they said it, in what language they said it, that doesn't.
Okay, so I'm just saying, if this was the average physicist, which I don't think it is, obviously you could say, oh, okay, it really is a religion because they don't give a shit about having credibility for believing something. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be based on reasoning and logic that you believe something. You just believe it because you believe it. Faith. Because, a rock hit you in the head.
That doesn't matter. We've evolved from there. We build on what we've learned from people.
Learned. You learned the story. and the story is the truth. That's religion. They tell you the story, you believe it. There you go. Book closed. That's what you're proving right in front of everybody. You're just proving that's all you do. The book says so. I believe what the book says.
In the past. And that's what makes science not a religion. Science is not a religion because it's not based on who said it when.
Oh, again, it's just too ridiculous. That's not what people do. If people paid any attention to who said what when, and that actually mattered, that would be meaningful. Then they'd have reason to wonder. But it's just that they say he was God. He's God's son. They just say it.
It's based on what we've been able to build and prove.
All right. Well, that's it's almost like, okay, this is another just piece of glaring evidence of why we can't possibly agree about anything, because you think I don't need logic and reason to believe.
Yeah, and he just keeps ranting that it can't be proven, but there's just
It's not that it can't be. Sure it can't be. But I mean, that's not my argument. My argument is that you've done absolutely nothing to prove it. Nothing. Nothing. Experiment A. We did experiment A a lot. Experiment B. Never do experiment B.
hundreds and hundreds of examples, and
Okay, so again, more vague reference to our volume of evidence that I'm pleading with you to send me a tiny drip of. And no, won't happen.
And, my very first interaction with him was, of course, suggesting one. I suggested an example that he could do himself. And
where was that? Sorry, where was that? Yeah, okay. Let's see if we can find out what that was. He did link me to one video that was on torque and power, and obviously had nothing to do with the subject.
you see where that has led us.
It's always been a shitty theory. Always. If you just, Leibniz was buried a nothing, okay? He lost all credibility in science. Nobody went to his funeral. No one would pay for it. Newton was buried as a fucking god. All right.
And that was the Newton who didn't believe in F equals ma. Let's understand the Newton that got buried as a god was the defender of momentum, three-dimensional space, lots of things. That's what he got buried as a god for, not what they perverted him into believing.
You dismiss everything I say as gibberish. It's not, Show me the sentence where you actually made an argument explaining anything. So give me that sentence somewhere. So was there a sentence you uttered that is anything real?
Yes, I still would love to hear the sentence that it was supposed to mean something that has something to do with evidence and proving the claim.
Oh, of course, that's in the previous email. This email is...
There's nothing in the previous. It's all bullshit evasion again. Well, the regressive braking and the wheel bearings and the blah, 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 all just evasions.
the one after. He calls everything gibberish. So, just go back to the previous email.
Yes, please. Go back to the previous email and see just exactly how he evaded the entire subject. Do cars use 25 times the fuel to go 5 times as fast? Fact is, it's nowhere even close. And the fact is, actually, if they actually tested it, it's probably going to be less than 5 times the fuel.
It's full of them. Full of them.
Oh, what a liar. Liar, liar, liar. Despicable liar.
Besides, tell me what...
I should reread his email, right? Make another video just rereading it and just pointing out what a pile of shit. I don't even think I read it in my video, right? I just showed it and said, He's just talking this crap about fucking all kinds of subjects except the actual subject. Does it take 25 times the electricity to spin something 5 times as fast? And the fact is, it doesn't.
What the fuck happened? It's always hitting the wrong button somewhere. Just go back, Gary. Should be works. Back button should work. Please. We're all the way back at the beginning again. All right, so it's this comment. Let's see. I insist on investigating a claim before I accept it. So where's the evidence of that? I'm asking you to show me your detective work. Give me the Columbo.
Very first email I sent you.
Okay, complete nonsense. His investigation work was to recite crap about irrelevant nonsense.
I gave you an example with a spring. Just do that example. Or better yet,
Liar.
ask one of the very nice people who've been trying to
Oh, what a fucking liar.
have this conversation with you before me, who have done it.
Okay, so he's defending the dispar garbage dirt shit experiments, the crash a MacBook car into a cracker experiment. So that's their physics. So all of physics is being defended. The only evidence they have is those silly Brozosian experiments. That's it. That's their pool. Amazing.
Have done the experiment and shown you the data.
And it's garbage. Plainly garbage. And in some cases, so obvious garbage. I mean, the one with the pendulum arc sticks in my mind. Okay, so Dispar knocked over a carton using the pendulum arc, right? And the pendulum arc for the thing going twice as fast is 4 times the arc. So you can understand, if I put the carton in the same place, obviously the small arced object isn't going to hit it with the same energy because it's already slowed down a hell of a lot before it hits it. And the other one is still only halfway through its arc when it hits the carton. So it's got most of its energy still left. An obvious flaw in the experiment. So are you defending that, Mr. Flat Earth physicist? I mean, really, isn't that a flat earther experiment? When you don't understand the variables, you don't even understand the conditions, and you do an experiment, then you claim you got proof, and then you don't redo it when somebody points out how you did it wrong, and you don't bother redoing it. Because you don't want to prove the opposite case of doing it actually correctly and demonstrating that what you said was completely wrong. So that's how dishonest they are. When the results don't come out their way, they don't publish the video. That's the truth. And you're defending that.
You know, if you were actually interested in that, it's available.
I've played their videos over and over again. Just like this one, I've pointed out the huge glaring flaws in their logic and reasoning. And where did they do any counter argument to my experiments? So you show me where they explained why the balance that says, okay, that these things are equal energy, that you claim one of them is 4 times the energy, and there's no evidence that there's 4 times the energy. Where did I get any response to that? Nowhere. So where did you debunk the Mythbusters? Nowhere.
But you're not interested.
No, you're not interested in being honest. So again, this is about integrity, and you're demonstrating you have none.
The truth is you're not interested.
Version of your investigation. Show me where you found some hair and fibers and a piece of bitten.
Oh, I went to Dispar's channel. There it is. It's all right there. In these great experiments with a camera that bends the view entirely, there's all kinds of deformation of the video, let alone the objects in the video.
And something else, and that's why you've drawn this silly conclusion. If you dismiss everything, so again, it's just, I don't dismiss everything you say, but there's just nothing you've said that isn't gibberish.
Again, there's no evidence and there's no logic.
This entire comment was just gibberish. Where did you talk about the fact that the kinetic energy appears incapable of moving the pendulum? That is, it's incapable of being collected to do work. So your definition is of kinetic energy is energy that does work. Well, it didn't do any fucking work.
He's writing quite a bit about this ballistic pendulum. The first video of his that I responded to did have a ballistic pendulum in it, but that part had nothing to do with me, so I didn't respond to that. I responded only to the parts that where he was citing my videos, and I've never had a ballistic pendulum in my videos that I can recall.
Right. Well, that wasn't the point. The point is I said, well, before I do his nonsense video, I'll make an actual argument. So he's not even doing the context right. I presented an argument before the argument just to show, here's something. Draw this, explain it to me. You're saying I'm wrong, explain it your way. Draw it and explain it.
The ballistic pendulum is really interesting, though. If you want to comment, my comment is, of course, it showed momentum, and it also shows kinetic energy.
Okay, so he says it shows kinetic energy. Where does it show it? You just claim there's 1900 joules of heat stuck inside the pendulum. There's a magical bunch of heat in there. Where did you show it to exist? So again, it's just so dishonest. Oh, there's just no point. I mean, it's just so dishonest to say that you showed kinetic energy being conserved. You didn't show anything. Nothing. Not a single calorie. Not a single Celsius. Not a single Fahrenheit. Not a single fucking Kelvin. You didn't show anything. You just claim it's there. I mean, it's glaring evidence of how he can't even honestly state, well, I guess we probably should do the experiment clinically, in a lab, and actually measure the heat. If we're going to claim it's there, we should measure it. Duh. I mean, fucking duh. Alright, better get this finished. Anyway, I got things to do.
I mean, the words that you say make no sense, right? When you say the kinetic energy doesn't move anything, and then he's talking about a ballistic pendulum. What is that? You shoot a ball off a spring, like a little ball bearing projected by a...
No, you shoot anything that's lighter, and you just absorb it inelastically. Sticks. Gets absorbed. So any experiment where you do that is going to duplicate the ballistic pendulum. And the simple truth is, in every single case, no matter how you do the experiment, light thing going fast combines with a heavy thing, every single time you do the experiment, and it could be combines with a light thing, it really doesn't matter, but every time you do that experiment, the kinetic energy has nothing to do with the outcome. It'll not be seen in the linear motion. It'll disappear. It never existed, so it can't disappear, but I'm just saying it will reveal that the kinetic energy does not do any work.
Spring into a block. The block captures it, and that makes the block swing. So the spring made the ball move. Hey, that's kinetic energy. It's momentum.
Okay, so he says it's kinetic energy and momentum again. It doesn't matter. We're saying which one will it collect. And it never collects the kinetic energy.
The ball hit the block. And then it makes the block swing, and that's kinetic energy, and it's...
Okay, so there obviously, I don't even know how he could be a physicist. There's no kinetic energy in the outcome. The linear motion of the block will have no kinetic energy. You will lose, in the case of a bullet, you'll lose 99.94% of the kinetic energy will not be in the linear motion. You can't look at the block and see it.
And it's momentum. And the momentum is conserved in that collision. Very cool. And it's an inelastic collision. The ball is captured by the block, making it inelastic. And
your argument is no matter what I create as a capturing device, whether I use Velcro, clay, sand, anything, doesn't matter what I use, I'll never convert the kinetic energy into usable motion.
that makes it not conserve kinetic energy. Wow, look at that. That's cool. Yeah, it's all there.
It's all there. You didn't collect it. Where is it? Back to Feynman's block argument. They're indestructible blocks. You should be able to show me where the indestructible blocks are. You're claiming they exist. You have to show me where they are. I can show you where the momentum blocks are. You can't show me where the kinetic energy blocks are, or you won't show me, right? That's the secret of it. You won't show me for some reason, okay? But you know they're there, but I just don't have an obligation to show you they're there. That's all you're saying to me. They're the videotape of Jesus walking on water. You have it, but you don't have to show it to me.
But, I mean, I don't know. What do you want to know about that?
I want to know how it's conservation of momentum, because if I create 1900 joules of heat, heat has to be caused by taking energy from something. It takes momentum to cause heat. So if you can give me an example where heat's created without the movement of objects, whether it's photons or electrons, doesn't matter. That somehow I can make heat without taking something's momentum. It's always momentum, always is making heat. So the argument is where did I get that extra momentum to make all that heat?
He probably.
The end of the experiment, the beginning of the experiment, I have one object moving with just 2 joules of total energy. You're claiming, okay, that when the experiment's done, I have 2002. That's the problem.
I'll project the response there would be, I want you to measure the temperature of the block to
you want me to do it? Oh, it's not science shouldn't do it. I have to do it again. It's my obligation to prove you wrong. You don't have to prove you right. Okay.
To see how much heat was captured. Okay. Could do. Why don't you do it? Right?
There. That's it. Yeah, okay. And what do I use exactly here in my environment with my budget? Soda crackers and matchbook cars? I mean, this is just such bullshit. Oh, it's disgusting. All right, I think I'll make this and I'll come back to this. I probably should hit the stop button, because if I hit the pause button and something can go wrong and blah, 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 and I'll stitch the videos together. All right, back. Have some more time.
Why don't you go ahead and do that? Right? That's the guy, the video that he showed.
Okay, right. So I should do all these experiments, and I need to prove your physics for you, because you have no obligation to do it to prove it to me. So you don't have to produce any evidence. I do. Complete duplicity and hypocrisy, frankly. Especially under the circumstances where I don't have laboratories, I don't have resources, I don't have any of that crap. I'm not even an experimentalist. I'm not trained. And so you think I should do it. You don't have to. I have to. I have to finance a satellite to go do the Eddington experiment.
Is, someone showing a high school physics experiment. This is where we can study these things with experiments like these. And whenever anybody says such a thing, we just get these sorts of responses. So it's not about wanting to be shown.
We do this, we do that, they do this. So again, he's just put me in some category where somehow I'm denying physics, and I'm doing it in spite of all the evidence they've shown me. Again, when they argue with the flat earther, they show evidence, don't they? Are they showing me anything? No. Clearly duplicity.
It's just about wanting a target so that you can make these videos and shout.
So it's exactly not that, right? Go to the fucking website, you lying piece of shit, and go ahead and find out where one of those videos listed is in any way some sort of hostile anti-science statement. It's a defense of a theory, a better theory. And that's all it is.
Obscenities into the void. That's really all this is.
If anyone is curious about this material, standard physics teaches us that force, momentum, and energy are all different but related. So again, different but related is mushy talk. So you don't see how that's gibberish? They're different, but they're related. They're samey, but they're not samey.
No, that's. I mean, you've got a point there. Is mushy talk? Yeah, because you're offended by my precise talk.
Oh, man, isn't that amazing? Oh, fuck. God, you really have not a shred of integrity. Not a shred.
When I give you the precision,
Oh, God damn it. The precision of, do the experiment yourself. I don't have to have any evidence. I believe. I'm a believer. I don't need any evidence of a God. You go find it. Just amazing shit.
of what is the difference between force, momentum, and energy. And I can lay that out for you.
Oh, go ahead. Lay that out for me. Yeah, I'd love to see the difference. Motion, mass moving, and then there's masses moving, and then there's masses moving, and then there's masses moving. Oh, but they're all different. No, it's not different. It's mass moving. They're never going to show you any experiment where anything happens in the universe isn't an exchange of mv.
In detail and mathematically.
Oh, well, yes. Mathematically based on our fake and phony formulas. Sorry, no sale.
We rant about that as well. So this is a simplified summary, is that they are not the same thing. You commonly refer to them as if they're the same thing, and they're just not.
Okay, they're just not. I'm not going to show you any evidence. I'm going to say that we have formulas that say they're not the same thing. Well, that's like saying you have a doctrine. You have a, the Lord said, you wrote it on a rock. Well, you wrote it on a rock. So what? Writing it on a rock doesn't make it so. Amazing.
Like each other, but some kinds are not like each other. So, one of them has horns. And, one of them has a fluffy tail. The difference between them are measurable and testable. And so he keeps implying there's some evidence somewhere. They tested something, that they dropped 4 pounds 1 foot and 1 pound 4 feet. That they tested this somewhere. They crashed a car, they did something. Where did you do a goddamn fucking thing to test this?
I don't often show experiments being done on my channel.
Okay, so well, that's a big giveaway, isn't it? Who needs experiments? Experiments are morarians. Yeah, experiments are moronic. You don't need to see anything, just believe, believe, believe. Seeing is bullshit.
Mostly, I try to advocate for people to go out and do them themselves.
Oh, okay. Well, again, it's just so retarded. I'm sorry. Go stare at the sun. No. Do them yourself. It's just so funny. Like all these experiments. I'll build my own LIGO. Oh, it's just so funny.
The reason for that is because I found that when I show people my...
I mean, even Galileo, had to figure out a way to do it his own way with the ramps and the bells and all this, and had to invent a water clock, because dropping things just doesn't really work without a high-speed camera. It just, it's too hard to see the effect. So we already know that this isn't that simple. Do it yourself. Where's, again, your physics that gave up on the joule tank. You don't have one. Nobody has a joule tank. MIT doesn't have a joule tank. Stanford doesn't have it. Nobody has a joule tank. I mean, one of the most famous energy experiments in the history of physics, and nobody has one.
Results. They dismiss them. They say I cheated and I lied.
Well, I'm just saying that whether you did cheat is a question. I'm just saying that, go watch Professor Lewin's kinetic, momentum conservation experiments, what they call it. But go watch it and just explain to me how the cart that's supposed to be twice as heavy can possibly be twice as heavy.
So, you know, when you're in an adversarial situation like that with someone who doesn't believe you, doesn't want to believe you, they won't.
So whatever. So again, if I did the experiments and let's just say I cheated, so I could do them and cheat. How would you know? You know, I could say it's level. I could bend the level. I could do all kinds of things, right? How would you know? You wouldn't know. And you would just claim it. We know you would claim it. So let's just be clear. You would claim I cheated. I mean, that's the problem. Your evidence has to be credible. That's why I'm arguing it should be done well. If you could agree that experiments should be done well, not badly, then we would have something to say about, well, let's see if we can get somebody to do these experiments. Let's see. There's lots of guys on YouTube who do experiments. Let's see if we can get one of them interested. But none of your people, none of your fans, none of these defenders of physics will join me in that assertion. They will not join me, and we can all make the effort to persuade Veritasium or somebody to do these elemental experiments. You're not for the truth. You're trying to evade the truth, obviously. Because if you wanted the truth, you'd want the experiments done well, not badly.
Right? They're not going to believe you. So, once again, maybe I'll put a link. I'll put a link to it down in the description. Maybe I'll pop it up in the up there. Somebody showed me that they actually did this. They did the experiment that he's ranting about right now. The one that
Great. Okay, so somebody did the dropping things and proved that MGH is crap. Well, good, because it is crap.
he's complaining about. No one's ever done it. They did it. They made a video and they shared it with them. So yeah,
Okay, so that'll be great. So what's that? Oh, it's probably a Dispar video. So yeah, no point. Michael Falwell. So yeah, it's a Falwell video. So there's just no point. I mean, you're not going to watch all of their videos and recognize that they're all chicanery, that they have a vested interest in just hating me. They don't have a vested interest in physics and the truth. So go watch Falwell's explanation of thin ice. Go watch his explanation of anything, and you'll see that he doesn't care about the truth. Oh, Jesus, disgusting. But whatever, there's nothing you can do. This is what they do. They don't care about the truth. So that's what he's proving. When he's resorting to these essentially, whatever you want to call them, you know, they're in a certainly a way far right dissident category, in the sense that they're willing to do almost anything, you know, to contrive to confirm their religion.
He's absolutely seen that. We all know he's seen it. That's
seen what? So okay, I'll play his milk carton one again. How about that? And then will you have the integrity to say that was rotten science? Let's see if you'll have the integrity to say, well, yeah, that was a garbage experiment, really bad. It's very deceptive. Will you be willing to say it's very deceptive?
not the point, right? The point is this performative rant.
God, you're such a shit. I think that pretty much sums it up. Yeah, well, go fuck yourself. So that's his response to a big ballistic pendulum. When you shoot a bullet into it, loses 99.94% of the kinetic energy is gone, missing. It's not in the pendulum. And every single time, with all of our high tech.
Yeah, so he just said it again. It's in the heat. Prove it. Demonstrate it. Stick a thermometer in it. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to show it. We're just going to tell you it's there. Oh, it's just so dishonest. All right, I'll pause. So dishonest. All right, just again, a simple example of the physics he's defending. So they've never done the simple experiment of just taking an object, weighing it, and then rising it above the surface and seeing what height creates twice the deflection, and then raising it some more and seeing what height creates 3 times the deflection, and what height creates 4 times the deflection as an instantaneous force. They've never done the experiment. So, I mean, if they had done the experiment, then we'd know what we should expect, because it would be consistent, because gravity is a consistent applier of force. It has rules, explicit rules about velocity. So we can guarantee an answer ahead of time, a mathematical answer. But they've never done the experiment, ever. So, you know, just to point out something that simple, their physics hasn't been at all curious to find out the truth. With all of our fancy physics, we will never push a ballistic pendulum and collect anything more than the momentum. Never do you collect any kinetic energy over the momentum. Not
it's in the
even
heat.
one little joule. Ever. And
Okay.
Again, no matter how you design the pendulum, how you incorporate the mass into the pendulum, it doesn't matter how you do it, Velcro, it doesn't matter what you do, it never collects any kinetic energy. The kinetic energy never works on the pendulum. Never.
I mean,
Let's understand, work is not defined as heat. So just let's be clear that when they say the word work, they're saying useful energy versus useless energy.
it's just really easy to test, right? That's just really easy to test. You you get yourself a ballistic pendulum.
Okay, so again, yeah, I can make a ballistic pendulum. I'm just saying that's the way the experiment should be done. I should take my garden thermometer and stick it in, right? We don't need a joule tank. We don't need any precision whatsoever. You really think that's rational? And you really think I'm going to be able to detect the heat produced by objects that I can play with, right? I'm going to be playing with, I'm not going to be shooting bullets anywhere. So what kind of projectile am I going to capture, and how am I going to measure such a tiny amount? Explain it to me, please.
You don't even, this is so easy. You just,
I mean, amazing. So he's saying it's so easy. Well, tell me, show me somebody, must be somebody on the internet willing to do the easy experiment. I'll pay for it. So show me the person who's willing to do the easy experiment.
you touch it with your own hands, it's going to be at room temperature, right?
Oh, brother. Oh, that's just so precise. So I'll argue that there's no chance that Professor Lewin's ballistic pendulum was warmer to the touch. No chance at all. If there is heat in there, it never got to the outside of the pendulum in time. So there's just no chance you're going to feel the heat. No chance.
Room temperature. You shoot the ball into the ballistic pendulum. Does it warm up or not? If it warms up even the tiniest bit, then there's
Oh, no, if it warms up the tiniest bit, that's the little tiny fraction of momentum you're missing. Ballistic pendulums don't collect 100% of the momentum. They just collect 99 or 98 or 97%. So it's just the missing momentum if it's a tiny bit of heat. So that's bullshit. You got to show me 1900 joules of heat in the case of a bullet. 1900 joules. That's what you're obligated to show me, not tiny heat.
there's your heat energy, right? That you just said doesn't exist. It's there.
Okay, he says it's there. He says the car going 50 miles an hour is using 25 times the electricity. He says it's true. Has he shown me anything to indicate it's true? Anything at all to indicate those things are true? Nothing. He just says it. And then claims he proved it. Me saying it is proving it. That's what he's saying. He's overtly saying, I am a disciple. I'm a, disciple's good enough. And I know the miracles are true. I saw Jesus do it. He knows it to be true, but he won't show me it's true.
I don't know. Anybody ever, felt the nail when you've been hammering for a while and you're hammering a nail in?
And that's not a ballistic pendulum. Everybody knows the nail doesn't go in very effectively. The hotter it gets, the less effective it went through the wood. So we know that friction absorbed a ton of the energy. I mean, anybody's hammered nails, and you got to hit them more than once sometimes. You got to hit them like 56 times to get it into the goddamn thing, because the wood is hard and the wood is making it difficult for the nail to pass through. So I didn't conserve the momentum. If I conserved the momentum, then the nail would go right through the piece of wood, but I'm not going to conserve the momentum. I'm going to lose a ton of momentum. So yes, prove it with a wrong analogy.
All this momentum with the hammer, bang, bang, bang. Where's it all going?
Yeah, it's not going into the velocity of the nail. The momentum of the nail doesn't have it, that's for sure, because the nail's not fucking moving, is it? Is the nail still moving? Is it still going? No, it's obviously not going anywhere.
That momentum going? Why is my nail so hot? I don't know.
Why has it stopped moving? I do know. Because it's heated the wood. Duh.
It's... There.
No, he's just a flat earther. Yeah, this is a flat earth argument.
He thinks that's not an indication that maybe kinetic energy is just fucking made up. Oh, fuck.
I mean,
As
made
some
up.
asshole chimes in.
It works.
It works. So he keeps saying it works. He keeps saying the formula gets right answers. And I'm begging to see the right answer somewhere. And what's he linked to? Crap. A crap experiment. Sliding weights on a metal tube. Who knows what speed they're going? Who knows that they test the spring for that it can measure any of this weight reliably? No. Complete garbage experiment. That I'm going to try to do these experiments. It's just that first I'm going to think of a brilliant way to do it rather than a stupid way to do it. And, for the dropping weight thing, I've already thought that, yes, the problem is the weights move. Well, frankly, they shouldn't, right? So if you suspend it and it's not moving, it should drop pretty much straight. So this shouldn't be that big an issue. So I'm saying, okay, if I need to drop straight, I'll put two little pieces of fishing line, that force it to stay straight, because the fishing line will have a tiny amount of friction. So that's going to be so much better than a steel tube that something's sliding on. So much better. But it really shouldn't be an issue, frankly. I mean, if you have a solid object that isn't imbalanced, it really should be able to fall straight.
I heard that if a 30-06 bullet hit...
The problem is the flat bottom, though, right? It's the whole penny argument. It just starts to wobble. You can't really fix that.
Someone in the
this
neck,
is somebody
the-
else who's
The
responding.
neck? What a weird...
This is somebody else has something else to say. I had no comment on this. Talking about bullets and shooting, and I'm gonna skip that.
was an unsuspected...
Yeah, so it was a silly argument in defense of his silly theory, but he's just going to skip it because, yes, it was a silly argument. Because you don't want to get it. He can't argue ballistics, just as you can't argue with the guys who shoot arrows. The guys who shoot arrows know kinetic energy don't have nothing to do with it. They know that I need to shoot a heavy arrow to get better penetration. They know all these truths. This kinetic energy theory doesn't come out to be true. They don't make the bullet lighter and lighter and lighter because they know it's not going to be as effective as the heavy bullet going slower.
Prize. So I'm glad to have it. I haven't read it yet, but we know it's going to be crap. But I just thought, hey. So he answered my 5-year-old questions that are in the description.
I don't mean 4 or 5-year-olds. I mean they are 5 years old, so I haven't written them very perfectly, but close enough. All right, so maybe this is a good place to put in video number 3, since it's a completely different subject. Well, different form of the argument. All right. So this I already know is garbage because all of his answers are garbage. Every single one of them was an evasion. Okay, yes, that's enough for now and such. Until the next volume. Yeah, next volume, volume 3. Coming up, eventually.